Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. In today's video we're gonna check out 3 stories that have to do with cheating. A quick side note before we begin, I want to remind you that there is another Lost Genre channel that is only focused on Am I the A-hole? It's called Lost Genre AITA Daily. You'll find the link in the description. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. This one's from user ThrowArray2Ka. So, ever since Rona started, my wife has been working from home. My job never let us do that, so I have still been driving to work every day. She has a friend that she occasionally hangs out with. He's been invited to hang out with both of us before too. He's nice, fun to hang around, and pretty cool. I've had no problem with this. My wife made me aware pretty early on that she dated him in high school. She said that they had dated their freshman and sophomore year. They never slept together but did mess around. They started reconnecting as friends during their senior year. At that time, he had a girlfriend and she was starting to see another guy as well. She claims that after they broke up, there was never anything romantic between them again. When lockdown started, my wife said that she would be able to work from home. I was glad and happy for her as I knew it'd be easier and even save gas. She said that her friend was going to be able to work from home too, so they may meet up sometimes to go over their work and help each other. They both work in a similar field. One day, I came home and noticed that he was there. I thought nothing of it really, as my wife had told me about this. They both had their computers and looked like they were working pretty hard. For a while, it was like this. Suddenly, a few weeks in, I would come home and they would casually be hanging out and having fun. Sometimes they would be playing a game, sometimes they would be drinking, sometimes they would be eating. I started finding this a little bit weird. It seemed as though he was getting more attention than me and that she was having a better time with him than me. Then, one day I came home, it was the final straw. They were both on the couch and her head was on his lap while they were watching TV. I waited until he left and then had a talk with her. I was fuming. I yelled at her and told her that their actions have been unacceptable and that there's no reason that she should be lying with a friend like that. I expressed how I felt like she has been showing him more attention than her husband and that it seemed like they were having more fun together than we do. Not to mention that they had dated before and fooled around. She got really upset and said I had no right to tell her that she can no longer hang around someone. She was mad that I seemed to claim that she was cheating on me with him and swore that she was not and would not do that. She said that all they were doing was relaxing and that it was not wrong to lay her head on his lap. The last 2 days, he has not been at the house when I got home. She says that she has not seen him since our talk. I apologized for being so angry about it. She doesn't seem like she has really accepted my apology as she has been really quiet around me ever since. How do I make things better? Is she cheating? How do I handle things between her and this friend? Oof, well that's a tough situation for OP. However, we have an update, so let's continue with that and see how this worked out. So last week I posted here about my wife spending time at our house with an old ex that she used to have from high school. When I caught her lying down with her head on his lap, I had enough. I told her he could no longer come over. She was mad and took offense to this, but agreed. Most people here agreed with me that it was sketchy for her to do this. I was made aware that he could still be coming over during the day and leaving before I get there. I ended up buying a camera that I could set up and hide while I am at work. I put one in the living room and one in the bedroom. The first day they were set up, I saw nothing unusual. The second day was when it happened. The ex came over. At first, they were just working, but then he started to get pretty touchy with her. It progressed until they needed to go up into our bedroom and sleeping together. I was shocked. I wasn't sure what to do. As soon as I saw my wife again, I questioned her if she had been seeing him anymore. She denied it. I told her that I had cameras installed in the house. Her face changed completely then. She knew what I had seen. She immediately started crying. I told her to leave the house. She tried to apologize and explain, but I wasn't having any of it. Since then, we have talked to each other once. I told her that I don't see how anything can happen besides a divorce. She said she doesn't want that and asked if I would go to couples counseling one time before making the final decision. I reluctantly agreed. I don't expect it to work, and I'm mainly doing it to humor her. I'm sure it's because she wants me to go and then guilt them into thinking that it was partly my fault that she cheated. I'm still looking and trying to contact divorce attorneys as I'm typing this. Well, OP, at least you're getting out of it, so good for you. It sucks that she cheated on you, but you get to move on. So now, we move on to the next story. This one is from user ThrowArray Married OK. I, 30 female, found out my husband, 32 male, hired my friend, 26 female, to strip at his bachelor party. 4 years ago, I got married to my husband after dating for 6 years, so 10 years in total now. My friend Rebecca has stripped since she was 21. She stopped last year after getting married and is going to be a stay-at-home mom when her baby is born. We're very close and we're basically neighbors. She lives at the end of the road we live on. Last week, one of my husband's friends visited at the same time as Rebecca, as I had made plans to shop with her. I forgot to cancel and she showed up. After she left, my husband's friend commented that he can't believe we're still friends after the bachelor party. When I asked my husband what his friend meant, he refused to comment, and we got into a huge fight over it when he told me Rebecca had been the stripper at his bachelor party. I texted Rebecca in the moment that I don't want her around anymore, but she hasn't responded in a week. I feel betrayed by the both of them, and I know it was just her job. I miss Rebecca a lot, but I'm so hurt. I don't know what to do. Well, this post has 2 updates, so let's continue with the first one. I confronted them both, separately. They both gave 2 very different stories. Rebecca says that my husband got drunk, groped her, and when she refused, he pushed her and started to yell at her. Apparently, my husband and his friends believe I shouldn't be friends with her because she led them on. My husband says that they didn't sleep together, but Rebecca tried to initiate and performed oral while he was blackout drunk. I'm staying with my parents because I don't know who to believe here or if I should believe either of them. All I've done is argue with my husband since the confession. I'm left more confused than ever, and honestly, I just want to say F the both of them. But if my husband's story is true, then he's totally innocent. But what if Rebecca is telling the truth? What if neither of them are? I'm sick of them both. I haven't stopped crying since arriving at my mother's, to be honest, and I don't think I can. Why would he hide this for 4 years? Why would she, if they both believe they're fully innocent victims here? My husband is a mean drunk, but he's always so soft-spoken, and I don't know if he can do those things Rebecca claimed. Although, I don't know how he reacts around his friends. However, I've known him longer than Rebecca. Now, I'm all for believing women, and I feel like by agreeing with my husband, I'm denying Rebecca's story side. Well, OP's pretty much tangled up in her head, so let's go check out the next update to see if she solves it. I realize I don't care anymore. I've done nothing but think about my husband throughout our marriage. My entire life has revolved around him. All my thoughts revolved around him, and I finally realized I've been the only one keeping this marriage going. I've been relying on him and forgiving him for such a lot of BS because I don't have anyone else. I gave him everything, and that's not happening anymore. Maybe finding out about Rebecca just sped things up? Maybe I relied too heavily on my husband? I told him this morning that it's over. He has yet to stop texting me begging for a chance. I texted Rebecca and told her I no longer want her in my life either. Both have confessed to sleeping together and continuing to do so. My husband out of anger to insult me, and maybe Rebecca wanted a last F you. Rebecca's baby is my husband's. To say F you back, I messaged her partner to let him know. I'm devastated, obviously, but now we have to make plans about what's happening with the house, and I can't afford to continue crying about it. Rebecca's partner let me know at 6 p.m. that she has moved. He helped her move all her stuff into my husband's house. It's all happened so fast, and I can't believe I was so oblivious to it. Maybe I wanted to be. I don't have time to process it all. Looks like they wanted me to find out before she gave birth. A nice, happy family now. Yikes, OP. Well, at least you got out of it. The whole situation just sucks all around, but the good thing is you're out. So now just get your affairs in order and move on with your life. And so we move on to the last story. This one's from user ThrowArray0123. My wife and I have been married for slightly more than 3 years now. Last Christmas, I found she had been having a long conversation with a coworker of hers, in which they talked about sleeping together multiple times and that they couldn't wait for the next one. The guy said he was going to book a hotel near their office right after Christmas. In this conversation, when he said he was looking forward to seeing my wife, she would reply things like, "I'm looking forward to much more than just seeing you," etc. You get the idea. Overly flirty and passionate. When I confronted my wife, she denied the conversation existed. After deleting it, she showed me her phone to prove it didn't exist, but I had already taken a few pictures. She then said it was all virtual and that they never did anything physical. To prove she was right, she messaged her coworker in front of me asking if he had booked the hotel. He replied, "Not yet." She then asked if he was really expecting them to meet, to which he replied negatively. She promised they would never talk again and I agreed, simply because I love her a lot and wanted to trust her, but in my mind, I wasn't completely sure she had been honest. For a few weeks, I must admit, I checked her phone a few too many times, so she changed her password, which I was fine with because I was probably being too paranoid. This week, I picked her phone up because I needed a code that had been sent to her phone number. I didn't even need to unlock the screen to get it. To my surprise, under the message with the code, there were other messages from the same guy. One of them was an audio. The second one was a shirtless photo of himself in front of a mirror. And the third one said, "sweaty," and a few emojis with the tongue. I confronted her since she had promised they wouldn't talk ever again, and she said he just wanted to show her he's going to the gym to show progress, but that the rest of the times they talk, it's just about work, and that this is just a coincidence. I asked her to show me the rest of their messages, but she said she had mistakenly deleted their conversation history. My wife says she's going to change this time and that I never really forgave her, and that's why she kept talking to the guy. She says this time she's really going to stop, but I have a hard time believing it. Or even if she does stop, I fear when things don't go so well between us, she'll do it again. I really love her, but I can't keep living like this. Is there any situation in which this can work? What would you do? If it was me, I'd leave her because she's definitely cheating and gaslighting you. Oh, since you never really forgave her, she didn't stop talking to the guy? So it's your fault? No. She hasn't owned up to it and she keeps doing it. But it's really not fair for me to give my opinion here because there's an update, so let's continue with that. This is a tough pill to swallow and I can't say I hadn't been warned. After reading every single comment on the Reddit post, my brain just couldn't overcome the catastrophe and the collapse of the world I had built for me, in which my wife is my love, my best friend and partner, as well as the person I admire the most. She was entirely perfect and made me happy for many years. I thought no couple in the world could have had what we had. We were both happy for a long time. We were both attractive. We were both inherently good, had big hearts, and were individually wildly successful in our careers. After the Reddit post, I moved to an Airbnb and eventually with family to think things through. It was a terrible time, but a psychologist helped me recover from a terrible mental state. It coincided with the lockdown being implemented because this thing hit very hard in my city. I caught it, which didn't help. During this time, we kept talking and my wife was very sorry and continued saying they hadn't met. I knew it wasn't true, but was willing to forgive the woman of my dreams who continued being in the highest altar of my universe. Fast forward last Sunday morning. I went back to our place, ready to forgive her and talk things through in the most mature way possible. And well, there she was, but I was the one who received the biggest surprise, to say the least. The guy was in my house naked, and so was my wife. The guy from the messages, the guy from the pics, the one she said she didn't even like. I caught him hiding in my bathroom as my wife was putting on her pajamas. When I saw him hiding in my bathroom, he uttered, "Sorry, dude." For a second I asked myself, is this where I kill him? But I instantly replied, I got nothing against you, because the guy was just nailing this hot woman, even if he was doing so in a house full of pictures of me, pictures of our wedding and our families, pictures of my dead father who would be so sad to see how the marriage he never witnessed was going to end. He has always been the reason I try to make the world a better place. He passed away 2 months before our wedding. I'm sorry, I still love her to death. But I understand, enough is enough, even if my world collapses. I hope I can build a new one without lies, in which I'm not just a blind believer under an altar of a fake god. Well, OP, I'm sorry for this rude awakening, but it's kinda what you get for not wanting to see things on purpose. The writing wasn't just on the wall, it was on her phone, on her face, all around your house, man, and you just didn't want to see it. But you did the right thing. You got yourself together and got out of there. Now get a divorce and continue with your life. Move on. You'll meet somebody else, definitely better than her. But then again, that's just my opinion. And so, we've reached the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click like and subscribe so you can become a part of this community. Also, don't forget about my new channel, Lost Genre AITA Daily. And don't be shy and visit the Lost Genre subreddit to cross-post stories or share your own. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.